Zach, we got the news of your suspension. What's your reaction to the situation as it stands?
I'm disappointed, obviously. You know, just not a great way to start the season. Obviously, start training camp. Um, feel like accepting the one game was a way to be make it less of a distraction and allow for us to be able to move forward. So that's what we did.
Can you describe what happened on the day that the CFL says they called and texted and emailed?
Yeah, I really can't describe the day in itself because it was kind of just an every other day kind of thing. Um, one of those situations where you miss a call. I didn't see it in the moment, um, and in fact, I didn't even realize that it had happened until a week later when the PA reached out to me, and I went back and looked, and there was a call there and um, a text message there as well. And I said to the person who called me, I said, this is an honest mistake. Like, had them call me back, and we could do the test today, kind of thing, right? Um, I guess as we went forward with this process, that was part of an investigation. That was, again, in the bylaws of how this is dealt with if you do miss a call that way. Um, and, although it was an honest answer, it didn't suffice for, um, I guess, a dismissal or the judgment of not, trying to levy 2 games against me, right? In past seasons, I know from talking to people that they've missed these calls before. Um, and they just kind of move on to the next person and call them. So I'm not sure why I had to get to this point, but it just is what it is at this point, right?
Are you a guy like most of us who doesn't pick up unknown numbers?
I don't pick up the phone a lot, yeah. Especially for unknown numbers, I don't. That's just the truth. If you see if you saw the message as well that I had received, and again, this is outside of the excuse that they didn't like, because that it was just an honest mistake. But it just looks like kind of an everyday spam message that you would get. Hi, my name is so and so. I'd like to talk to you, so and so. That was kind of it, right?
Do you think that's part of what you end up with a one-game suspension instead of we're used to it being two? Do you think the
Right.
CFL is taking some culpability or CSIS takes some culpability for
Well,
this?
I mean, I think it reads and I haven't seen it today, but I believe it reads that the PA as well as the league are going to collaborate or whatever the word is to enhance the protocols of that, and that is to me is a better method of contacting the players, like in other leagues. Again, I've learned this through having gone through this the last 2 months. That, like, for baseball, for instance, and some of the other leagues, if you do in this 24 hours, if the drug agency calls you, then they call the organization, then they call your agent, and they have 24 hours to contact you that way, right? So I'd imagine if Darren had called me on that day, and I did see Darren's name as I was kind of scrolling, and not just a random phone number, I'd have called Darren and be like, hey, what's up, man? So, yeah.
Go ahead.
Did they say anything? Did they? What day specifically? Do you know the game? Is it kind of an open thing that the game suspension? What game it would be the date, or is it that still to be determined?
It'll be the first game.
Oh, the first game. Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you find out about that you had officially been suspended by the league for the one game? Was it?
So initially, I received an email um, sometime the end of February, I believe. Yeah. The letter that from the league, from Randy, whoever wrote it for him, that I was suspended for 2 games. Yeah.
So how do you go ahead?
Is the frustrating part here, Zach, that the change comes after this?
Yeah. I mean, again, like at the end of the day, I'm a big believer, like you're in control of your own destiny, right? So I take responsibility for it. It's my life, right? I would hate to preach it to my kids every day, like that, to take accountability for things. So I'm taking accountability for that. However, the acknowledgement of a flawed method of getting in contact, and then they're going to go and change it. So that doesn't sit right with me, right? And I through this process, as we were trying to find ways to resolve this and not have it come out publicly, not have there be a suspension, I said, like, hey, like, I'll play the first game. You don't have to pay me. Like, fine me. Like, just, and you can change the rule. and I won't say boo, but they wanted to. They were pretty. Somebody was pretty adamant about moving forward with this. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm just curious that I mean, kind of getting a sense in your voice too that it feels like this is still. It's almost like this might have just happened. Like it feels like you're still upset about it. I'm just wondering, like, have you been able to, I don't know, get over it, whatever you want to call it, settle down from it in the past couple of months?
I mean, it's something that we've been talking about now for a while. I'm looking forward to moving forward with it, but I'm obviously not happy about it at all. The way it's the last 2 months have been very frustrating, as well as agonizing is the wrong word, but just trying to think of what the right thing is to do here. Do we go to arbitrations? Do we accept the one game? From a reputation standpoint, and more so like just loving the game of football and all it's given me, and having always done it the right way, to be even associated with a suspension like this, even though it's not for a failed test, right? There's a lot of kids. I mean, I'm older now, right? But like, those kids are older too that looked up to me when I was back home and in college and here as well. You do it the right way. You don't want to think people, especially children, to think that you do it the wrong way. So that's that was the hard part for me to swallow about the whole thing. So yeah.
I know you're a vet. I mean, I don't doubt that you can just move on from it. But is this something that you feel like you can just kind of push aside throughout the rest of the training camp here and get ready for week 2 as normal?
I believe so. I mean, we got a great organization here that's been in my corner since kind of the news was levied. At least internally. Great teammates, a real fun, group here. A lot of young guys to teach like the Bomber way, right? So that's exciting. But yeah, motivated, very motivated.
Does it change the way you approach camp, knowing that you won't be able to play the first game?
I'll probably watch tape a little bit differently, and try to do a little bit more big picture thinking, and then work out a little bit harder. 'Cause I'll have to, I guess, save my body for the beating.
You mentioned the reputation thing, and I'm just thinking of guys who have been suspended in this league, and there can be a real stain with something like this, and it's not even failing a test; it's just not taking a test. It's how concerned are you about that? How big a deal is that for you, for your family, for whomever?
Yeah, that was really the biggest concern, and it will be, I'm sure, moving forward. Although the way, it was released and all that, as you said, doesn't make me look as bad, I guess, but it's still your reputation, right? So, and just the association of I've never been suspended from anything in my life, right? So it's just it's unfortunate the way it all unfolded. Again, like I'm not gonna say I wish I would have lied about what the hell I was doing that day, but it's like I told my friend who was in the PA that called me that day, like, hey, this is what I was doing. I missed the call. I didn't see the call. That's just the truth. And did not think anything was going to happen after that. I was just like, I just went about my day after I had that conversation, right? And then a couple weeks later, or a few weeks later, I got an email that I was suspended. I called people here like, what the hell is going on? See, just reliving that is weird. Yeah.
For context, over your career, how many times have you been tested? Like dozens, hundreds,
No,
6?
not hundreds. Probably 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. After games, usually, it's more of just a nuisance than anything. After a game or after a practice, it's like, man, they got me. I got to go sit there and try to make myself urinate. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
Other than that, good off season. Outside of that.
Yeah, outside of that, yeah, it was got to spend a lot of time with my family, obviously, and training went well, but yeah, the last 2 months have been tough. But I've been really looking forward to getting back out here. So.